All right, good people. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, and good evening to some of y'all, depending on where you are on any part of this world. Man, hey, welcome into Let's Go Live. Let's go. So here it is, man. Thursday, June 4th. June, the year is moving and June is moving too. It's already the fourth day. I can remember when it was just June 1st. I'm Lamont King. Welcome into the program. If you're tuning in on YouTube, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for being there and being ready when the bell went off and you got that notification. I appreciate you. You're doing everything you need to do. Now all you got to do is tell somebody. If you're on my Facebook page, so this is what we're doing. You're on my Facebook public page because they wouldn't let me do all the things I needed to do on my private page. So all I need you to do is share it. And I'm gonna show you how. I'm gonna do it just like I'm gonna walk you through it so you'll have an understanding of what you need to do and you ain't gotta make no excuses about what it is. So I'm going to my public page. That's Lamont King, right? You'll see this at the top. You'll see that at the top. I don't know if you can see that. That's me at the top. I go there and I'm like, oh, bam. Boy, broadcasting live with his show and all that. And I'm be like, okay, I like the show. It's interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and share it. So I'm watching the show. I'm watching me, and then I share it to my page. That's all I need y'all to do. That's it. So that other people can watch it too. All right. So that's what it is. Also, shout out to our sponsors, Drunken Fruit. Drunkenfruit.com is bringing you today's show. And Raynetta and Eunice for donating and becoming partners with the program. Hey, good to see you, Raynetta. Come to the show. I thank you for your support. We appreciate it. It's completely viewer funded, and we're broadcasting live from Tiny Closet Studios. Same people that bring you Tiny DIY and Tiny Kitchen. And we got some more stuff too. Look for our podcast dropping soon. All fun and games and whites only. That's the move. So I hope everybody is well. Also, we're gonna open the phone lines up momentarily so you can say what you need to say. 347-391-4368. I'm gonna post it a little later, and I'm also post my Cash App so you too can join in on the fun. If you're a small business and you want to sponsor the program, please send me a DM. Whatever you gotta do, we'll let you know. You can get your stuff, get your signage over here, or you can hang your gear over here and put you on Spotlight, put you on D-Play. Right about now, we're gonna bring my man in from Humor Mill Mag, man, one of my favorite guys in the world, and yours too. And he's been riding with me all week. My man Frank Hill from Humor Mill Mag. What's good with you, Frank?
Hey, bro, how you doing, bro? How's everything?
Good, cool, man. There you go again with the same Patriots hat, man, and that's a different one.
Oh yes, yeah. I told you yesterday. I got a whole bunch of. Sorry,
bro. Gee, I guess.
I gotta change them up, man. I gotta get my fraternity stuff tight. You know what I mean? That's what I gotta do. I gotta get my fraternity.
I'm gonna send you some stuff. I got some stuff for you. I'm designing.
Yeah, but not your fraternity. Not your fraternity.
No, I'm sending. I do designs for organizations. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh.
Hey, man, that's on the low right now, but we going to launch. That's gonna be included in the other launch for the show.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. I didn't know that. So you learn something new every day.
Oh man, I do all types of things, man. You gotta have what they say, 7 multiple streams of income.
Yes, we do. Yeah, but bro, I can't wait to talk to you. I got something on my mind that's nagging me to death.
Well, let's get to all right. Today we're gonna touch on a few things, and also we got some other guests coming up because there's a topic that was on my mind. So I had to reach out and grab some people. It could be the same thing because we haven't talked all day. It could even be the same thing. But also thank you for tuning in right now because I understand the funeral or memorial service is on right now too. So if you're splitting your time, we appreciate you. Right. That being said, man, so let's get to it. What's on your mind? Let's see if it's the same thing.
Okay, I had an issue with my wife. My wife and I were talking about celebrities showing up at funeral services and things like that. Now, I don't know how you feel about this, but I was fine with the celebrities showing up, at the funeral service. But when Al Sharpton started calling them, out in the names and standing up and acknowledging, I'm thinking, it's kind of taken away from George Floyd's funeral. So that's kind of rubbing me the wrong way. So I don't know.
I feel like that's a good angle. But however, celebrities, they really can't win, man. They can't win.
Yeah, I know. They can't.
Because we say we haven't heard or seen you, and then now you see them, and it's like it's not about you. You know.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We want to see you during the time when it's time for action. You know what I mean? When everything was going on, not at the funeral service when it's supposed to be about the person who was being laid to rest.
That's true.
That's all my point is. Like I told my wife just now, if I have to be put to rest right now, you can give them 5 minutes, but I need the other 55 minutes. You know what I mean? That's all. Yeah, you probably gonna talk about Drew Brees or something, but that was just bothering me.
You know what? So my man, I'm trying to get my man Kenny to call in, man, because I don't want to talk about Drew Brees. I feel like it's just another talk about sports. Like to me, it's commentary. It's irrelevant. Like we know what they think already. We already know he's never not held that position. So for me to be mad, not Drew Brees. Nah, like we already know where they stand. So I don't want to give that any more energy because it doesn't do anything. We already seeing it. The NFL is see-through. We already seeing that it was never about the flag. So keep saying that that's your dumbness. Like I don't talking about that.
I thought that's what you were going to talk about because honestly, I was like, I had no surprise.
If my man
like this with Donald Trump, I'm like, I had no surprise. Like, okay,
if my man Kenny Bowe calls in. We gonna talk about, but that's it. That's the only person I want to talk because he had an interesting viewpoint. He just hit me on Facebook and said what he said. And I'm like, bring that to the show. Let's go live with it. That's why the show is called Let's Go Live.
Okay, now how you feel about what I said, honestly?
No,
if you passed away, right? And your loved ones are sitting there right now, and then everybody on the side is obviously celebrity, and you passed away the way George Floyd did. I appreciate them even being there, taking that time out. That's huge. Right. But it seemed like to me it was getting ready to start to take a turn to go towards something that it wasn't meant to be. Right. That's the way I felt about it.
No, you're not. And I only caught the tail end of it. And here's my issue. And I always, my gripe is always abstract and obscure. My issue is I don't like I get funerals or celebration of life. I get that. That's if this was that.
Right.
This ain't a regular homegoing.
Right.
That happy singing and all that. It don't necessarily move me that way because that reminds me of the passive and forgiving nature that has got us into trouble so far up to this point. Like I don't all that happy and oh happy day. Nah. I just if you're gonna do it, because that's part of our culture. That's ritual for us.
Right.
You're gonna do that. I don't want that on TV.
Right.
I want angry talk. If it's me in the box, I want y'all talking angry. And it went like that. That's just me. You know what I mean? Some things I'm a radical about, some things I'm not. And that's just one of them. So, speaking of which, so here's where I want to go. Okay. Again, the number is 347-391-4368. Don't call now. Just remember it because we got one phone line. So when I open the line up instead of I want y'all to know. So this is Let's Go Live. It's my man Frank from Humor Mill Mag. So I saw something on social media, right? Because I'm up in the morning and I'm scrolling, trying to fall asleep. And you wake up, scroll again, and you get mad, you get happy. So I seen this thing about New York. So New York is on fire right now. They wilding every borough, and not just the damage, but the police super wilding. So I'm indicting them just as well. But it's a lot going on. So what I saw, something that jumped out of me, is an area north of Manhattan, just shy of the Bronx, called Dyckman. And Dyckman is this community neighborhood, whatever, where there's a high Dominican population. Probably all of the ones that ain't in Dominican Republic is probably in Dyckman. So, and I'm being facetious, but I'm being serious. So there's been some issues recently with some police involvement, and then with some black dudes and some Dominican guys, and then police kind of taking sides. And so last night what I saw was some members of the Dominican community are coming out protecting their property in their neighborhood under the banner of protecting their neighborhood and aligning themselves with the police against the black folks. So Black Twitter goes crazy, right? What y'all doing? This is crazy. We all black. And Dominicans jump out there and say, I ain't no black. I Dominican. Right, which brings up this to the surface, this age-old controversy with what's been branded as the Afro-Latina population, with people of African descent who are also from these Spanish colonies like Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Dominican Republic. But in America, most people, like, okay, somebody could turn on TV right now. This could be Dominican television. They can see me and you. And be like, them two dudes are black. And could be like, but they're also Dominican. But there are some Dominicans who like, no, I'm Dominican. I'm not black. Black is a color. This is my nationality. So I was like, I got so many opinions on there, and I know that is going to buck wild, but I wanted to bring somebody on who would have more of a first person kind of perspective with this conversation. So I did some tracking down, and I want to welcome to the program Illy. Illy is from now you from Manhattan? You from New York, right, Illy?
Yes, I'm from New York.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Born and raised. So welcome to the program. Let's Go Live. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're on with Frank and I. And now Frank is from Boston, so he's familiar with that type of because y'all got the Cape Verdeans up there, and they kind of do the same thing.
Cape Verdeans, the Puerto Ricans,
right?
The Lebanese,
right? And I'm in the DC area where we don't get it as much, but you'll run across some that kind of have that mentality. And in my travels, I've seen it the most in South Florida with the Cubans, because the South Florida Cubans will tell you straight to their face, I'm American, then I'm Cuban, and I'm not black at all. You know what I mean? So just to see the discussion, it was trending last night. So I wanted to talk to somebody who had a perspective, either from ethnic background or growing up in the community. So Illy, if you could just give us a little bit about your background, where you from, and what you think about this whole situation.
Okay, so my name is Ileana. People call me Illy, and I was born at Columbia Presbyterian, which is a hospital located in Washington Heights, which is a predominantly Dominican area in New York City. And my parents moved to Harlem when I was around 3.5, 4 years old. However, I still had family that lived in Washington Heights. I have family that lived up in Dyckman, the Inwood area, even further downtown in the 90s. So I visited them and was constantly in all of those different areas and those neighborhoods, associating with all different types of people. I actually went to the University of Maryland undergrad and attended Howard Law. So I'm very familiar with the DC area, and I actually have family in Boston and have some Cape Verdean friends in Boston too. And I wouldn't, necessarily want to generalize. That's one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to generalize because everyone's not the same, but you do have certain pockets of people that have a certain mentality about things. So that's where the issue comes in. With regard to this incident that's recently happened, I've watched a lot of videos regarding it, because when I saw Dominicans trending on Twitter and then saw why we were trending on Twitter, I was like, great, we're not trending for a good reason. So I had to do my own research and look and see what the different videos were showing. And based on all the footage that I saw, I will say that there were 6 kids in the area at nighttime, and it appears that I don't know what they were doing, and I'm not going to say what they were planning on doing because I wasn't there. However, they weren't quote unquote protesters protesting a cause. I'll say that, and I'll say that because they didn't have any banners or anything of that nature. And yes, there were people from the community who ran them off. As far as I know, there was no violence. No violence occurred. No one was injured, but they did run them off. There are some newer videos that have surfaced regarding this where those individuals have spoken out regarding what transpired, and you can see them during the day speaking with the cops because they did not want their neighborhood destroyed. So that was the angle that they were going on. And that's what I've seen to date. Now, to answer the other question regarding Dominicans and Blackness, I don't think we have enough time on your show, and I know you have other people.
Now you the people.
But I just don't think we have enough time to really unpack the deep rootedness of the issue. But On the surface,
tell me, what is your experience? Are you 100%? Are you 50-50? What is your experience?
well, no, both of my parents are from the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
They were raised in the capital. My parents actually lived in the Dominican Republic during the dictatorship of Trujillo, which, if anyone wants to do research on him, you can see the type of person that he was and what his stance was. And then both of my parents, came to this country and started a new life.
So your first generation.
First generation.
Now, were you raised Black or raised Dominican in America?
So that's an interesting question, because my mom raised me with the awareness that I'm a Black woman, because we're all aware. She taught me about the African diaspora, and I know that the slave ships were on that island, the island of Hispaniola, which is shared between the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Right. So she raised me as a Black woman, which is my race, but she also instilled all of the cultural values and let me know that my ethnicity is Dominican. So I identify as a Black woman and I identify as a Dominican. I don't call myself Afro-Latina because I personally feel like this is a new trend that's popular and people are jumping on it. And for as long as I can remember, I've always identified as a Black woman. If anybody has receipts that states otherwise, right, bring them. I want to see them.
Now, I say Afro-Latina only because I don't know what is the. I feel like white people sometimes. Like, I don't even know what to call you. Like, what are you calling yourself?
Right, right. And I mean, and no judgment to those people that wish to identify like that. That's perfectly fine. There's some people who identify as Black. There's some people that just want to identify as African American. There are other Black people who, will talk about their ethnicity and say, I'm Jamaican, I'm Trinidadian, I'm Cape Verde. Like, whatever you want to call yourself is fine. Right. I just prefer to say I'm Black and Dominican.
How about
I like to delineate that.
Can I ask you a question? When you are approached by people who are not of color, do they treat you as a Black woman or they treat you as a Latino? Did I say that correctly? Latina?
Yeah, no. That's a good question, and I laugh because people that are not of color look at me as a Black woman. Mm-hmm. Dominicans, I've had on numerous occasions, in particular. At the beauty parlor, for example, I'm there with my mom, and everybody knows my mom. She's the life of the party. She walks in there, chit chat, and starts dancing. Mm-hmm. She's the life of the party. I'm more just low key. So there have been several incidents where I'll walk up to my mother and say something to her at the beauty parlor, and a Dominican woman would say, "That's your daughter? I thought she was Black." And I'll flip it and check them right quick and say, well, I am Black. And then they're like, well, no, and try to explain. And I get it, but I feel like there needs to be more dialogue and more awareness needs to come about from this, because there's a distinction. We're Black, that's our race. Yeah. And no one's telling you that you don't have to embrace your culture and your ethnicity and be on board with that. It's fine. I grew up eating rice and beans every day. Mm-hmm. But then a lot of other people in the Caribbean grew up eating rice and beans as well. So,
Mexicans, and Jamaicans and all of that.
I love me, some merengue, and I love bachata. And there's so many beautiful things about being a Dominican that I embrace, but it's disheartening when you have those that, unfortunately, because of being colonized, they just can't see past that, and Black is looked upon as something bad and something that they don't want to identify with. And I mean, if we want to get technical, it happens in the Black community as well with colorism.
Yeah, colorism.
So it's something that I feel like all of us as a collective, and when I say all of us, I mean the Black race, needs to come together and realize that we're all the same. It doesn't matter what level of tone you are, we're all the same, and we all bleed the same, and we really need to come together as one and really effectuate change in this country.
So to that point, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to you're tuning in to Let's Go Live with Lamont King. Frank Holder's on with us today from Humor Mill Mag, and Illy, New York native of Dominican heritage. And we're talking about the conflict that we've seen on social media and in New York specifically between the blacks and the Dominican population. Some of them, not all. But this. So you were talking about the video that you saw. The video that I saw was a kind of armed group of individuals who were walking side by side with the police as if to say, we're policing our own stuff, right? But I saw them shouting at a group of black people, and everything is, and I'm quoting here because I don't say N-word, but everything was nigga this, nigga that. And it's wild. That's how the conversation that I saw started on social media, because you don't identify with black. However, you throw that word around, you love the culture, you just don't love the culture. So it's like, what if you could speak to, if you have an opinion, you may have family and friends or whatever, what is it that about that makes those individuals not identify with black while in America?
So,
because here, like you said, when somebody not of color looks at you, you in that bag. They throw you in that bag.
Right.
You black, period. So what is it about is it just the fact that their community is so strong, is so concentrated?
So one thing I will say, and this is not statistics because I don't have the numbers, but this is just off the top of my head. I believe that we might be the largest Spanish speaking group in New York City.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it, but
okay. I can see
we're
that.
not the largest, we're really up there.
So it's a little numerical pride going on.
No, not that, but it's a lot of us, I'll just say. And in these areas, there is a huge concentration. So, for example, in Dyckman, it's like you walk outside, even businesses, it's like Dominican, like 99% of the people you're going to run into are Dominican. There are pockets where you may have African Americans, and I'm using African American and Dominicans just to differentiate
right.
who I'm referring to. But for the most part, it's a heavily populated Dominican area. And I know, based on one of the videos that I saw as well during the day when they were with the police, they wanted to protect their neighborhood.
Right. Which is fair.
Which is fair. And I know in Chicago, there was recently something where Mexicans did the same thing. They wanted to protect their neighborhood and the stores that they go to and rely on a daily basis. To answer the other part of your question, with regard to not identifying with Black, it goes back to what I said before. Being colonized. So you're living in a country where you were colonized to believe a certain type of thing. You come to this country, you still have that same mentality. I had to call my mother yesterday just to have a discussion with her because I couldn't understand what made her different. My mother in her bathroom, her light switch plate, and I tell people this all the time, is Malcolm X. That's who she has. If you go into my mother's bathroom and you turn off the light or turn on the light, the little light switch plate is a picture of Malcolm X.
Oh, that's heavy.
We didn't live that far. I wasn't born at the time, but she was already in America at the time when Malcolm X was assassinated. And ironically, the hospital that I was born in is right across the street. So she lived very close in proximity to what was going on during that time. And perhaps some of that affected her and made her, be a little more open-minded in thinking. But she told me that even when she was in the Dominican Republic, it was clear to her that she was Black. She knew that. So for those that weren't as lucky as me to have a parent who was quote unquote woke and aware of their race and their stance, when they're born in this country, their parents instill certain things. I mean, you hear it all the time, you want to, even Black Dominicans, and by Black Dominicans, I mean, complexion wise, they'll deal with, oh, you want to, better the race. You know, oh, you have bad hair. You need to better the race so that your children will have better hair, like just ignorant stuff like that. And I'm not, by no means do I ever condone any of that. And in instances whenever I hear anyone say that, I try to take a step back, process it, and then educate them or enlighten them. But there's some people that are ingrained with certain thought processes that no matter what you say to them, Sammy Sosa, perfect example.
Oh man,
like good example.
You cannot change their mindset. You know.
So what is that? Is he? No, for those that don't know, Sammy Sosa over the last few years, man, he's been going through a transition, like the real kind. I mean, bleaching all the way. Like he's 100 shades lighter. Now, is that something that's a popular trend, or is he really like I'm turning white? Because
what's his excuse for even doing that though? Why is he even doing that?
Yeah, that's the question.
I mean, so the whole bleaching thing, and we see it in Africa, we see it in Dominican Republic, we see it in a lot of countries. So it's not exclusive, but it's not a popular trend in the Dominican Republic. That I will say. It's not a popular trend. He's, I think, just way over left. He probably wasn't a good example, but I used him as an example because a lot of people are familiar with him. And that just, I'm using him as an example to show how ingrained certain people are to just think that Black is something bad, that they just want to rid themselves of it. And he's taken it to the extreme. I firmly believe that the newer generation, as I look at my social media feeds and see and speak to people that I know and, you know, cousins of mine and my cousins' friends and different people, I see there being a shift where we are more aware that we are Black and, you know, we are definitely want to hold on to our culture, our ethnicity, and all of the wonderful things that make Dominicans Dominicans. We're not going to let that go, but we are aware that we're Black nonetheless. Right. I mean, there's a young lady who opened up a natural hair salon in the Dominican Republic. And when I found that out a few years ago, it blew me away because we're so conditioned to the relaxers and the hair straightening and trying to have that European look. And by her doing this, she's letting Dominicans know it's okay. We have different degrees. Like our hair texture is so different. You have some whose hair is straight, bone straight. Then you have the curly, the wavy, the kinky. Like it doesn't matter. Like this is all what makes us. And she also opened up a salon now in New York City, which I've been telling myself I need to make it there. You know, currently now we're on quarantine, but I definitely want to support her.
Yeah, I feel like part of that is conditioning too, and we've been conditioned because let's just look at socially. When we talk about hair and hair weave and bundles and bags, we like Dominican is the best quality you could get. So if you hear that over and over, it's going to kind of align or change the way you think about appearance and the standard of beauty, if you will. So that, you know, it's we're socializing ourselves to that effect. We had a question by one of the viewers right here, and they were asking, do you experience colorism when you go back home?
So that's a good question. I mean, when I go back home, I'm a tourist. I'm considered a tourist. So I don't have any issues with anybody because people that travel are looked upon differently. I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it, but I'm traveling.
You get a pass.
My family.
Yeah, you get a pass.
Right. You know, I live in the States, so it's like, you know, that golden ticket, Willy Wonka, that golden ticket. Oh, you live in the States. That's like, you know, a big thing to achieve. So I personally haven't experienced any issues when I've gone back. I've been around my family. It's nothing but love. In the hotels, it's nothing but love. So me personally, no, I haven't. Do I witness things that transpire? Yes, but I witnessed that here too.
Okay.
So I don't think it would be exclusive just to the country. I think it's more so just the people. But I really have faith in the newer generation of Dominicans. And I believe that over the next, maybe 10, 20 years, there'll be a different narrative, and there'll be a different radio show, and the conversation will be totally different than what we're having right now.
And that's what I was going to ask you in closing, because I appreciate you coming on the show. I was going to ask you, because that beef in that area has been around for a while. It's just now it's on the surface and it's on Front Street. And I was going to ask you from a solution standpoint, how do we come back from that? How do we rectify it? But you answered it before.
So but I actually, there was a video where there were some individuals who actually apologized to the other individuals. I could find that clip and just send it to you so that you can just see it on the side. But they did apologize. They said it was a huge misunderstanding, and they wanted to squash it because I guess it was getting a little out of hand, and you guys aren't even in New York, and you're weighing in on the issue. And I guess in closing, for if you do have any listeners in New York, just to let you know, this Saturday, June 6th at 1:00, there's actually going to be a march. It's sponsored and being held by Dominicans, and it's at Mitchell Square, and they're meeting at 167th Street between St. Nick and Broadway, which is not that far from the hospital that I was born at. But it's 167th between St. Nicholas and Broadway this Saturday at 1:00, and they'll be marching from there all the way up to Dyckman in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. So I just wanted to put that out there so that people could know that there are steps. It's at 1 p.m. this Saturday. And it's the little area is called Mitchell Square, but it's 167th Street between St. Nicholas and Broadway. So that's, I think, a huge statement being made by the Dominican community. Like, we stand with you. And I believe, like in all instances, most people stand with you, but you have, certain people that people mess up the movement.
Right. So you're gonna get that. So I put that on the screen. June 6th at Mitchell Square in Washington Heights, 1 p.m. There's a rally of solidarity between the Dominican community and Black Lives Matter movement. So hopefully, 2 days from now, when a new news cycle, 48-hour news cycle, we'll be talking about something else, and this will no longer be an issue. Illy from New York, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Illy.
No doubt.
All
right. Have a good one.
Hey, Illy, next time hopefully we'll be able to see you.
Well, she said it was one of those days.
I know. I'm dealing with that with my wife. My wife said, I don't know, I'm not being seen on camera for nothing.
Yeah. But that's heavy though, because that's an issue. She was right though, because in America you deal with the whole light skin, dark skin. Oh, we bringing light skin back. Oh, that was real dark skin of you, or all that. Yeah. It's a cultural thing. And these are holdovers from slavery, because all of that at one point in time was used against us. So
but it's interesting to hear that even the Dominicans and people of the Latino persuasion are dealing with that also. Like, I didn't even know about that. You learn something new every day. So now my question is, do the Asian people do that amongst themselves too? Because the Mandarins and the Vietnamese, and
it's more along ethnic lines. It's similar but different. But it's a lot of the Asians, colorism per se. Because I don't even know if I can say this correctly, but they don't have that many variations in skin tones.
I don't know about that.
I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm saying they don't have that many variations. So to be able to say the lighter you are, the closer to white, the better you are.
True, but a Japanese person could look at a Chinese person and tell that. Now you and I would be like, I can't tell. I'm not trying to be racist, but I can't tell the difference between, and they probably can't tell the difference about us. Like, if I'm African American or Latino, you know what I mean? They probably can't tell. So,
and I think for them it's purely along ethnic lines. And again, I said they don't have many variations, but I know some history buff who's been reading all night is going to come on here and try to correct me. And I'm fully aware that there's some Vietnamese, Cambodian, Filipino who are cold blacker than seal.
Yeah.
So I'm hip. I was just making a generalization. So shut up. So there's that. Let's go live, ladies and gentlemen. Lamont King, Frank from Humor Mill Magazine. So you let something out the bag the other day. Do you have anything to add to it as far as what we're looking at next week, moving forward with the Humor Mill channel?
Yes, I do have something to add. I was waiting for you to, okay.
Yeah, well, so kind of clue everybody in. If you're viewing right now, with this was a soft launch this week of the show. Bringing you daily content on some platforms. So I just wanted to get it done and get in front of you guys and make sure I could prove to people that people will tune in and watch. And here you are.
Right.
And so Frank has put together a situation, and so next week things are going to change.
Right.
If you could, without telling the whole story, can you let us know what will be different next week? Where will we be at? How about that?
You will be on the channel. And the channel will be Humor Mill channel. It'll be on cable. It's be on Tiki Live. It'll definitely be on a couple of other cable platforms. But we want to push all the traffic to Tiki, because Tiki's like another cable tier, like Comcast and Charter and all that. So we're pushing traffic towards Tiki, but we're also on Distro, which is worldwide. So when you start with your show, you're literally going to be in Asia. You're going to be in Europe. You're going to be in Canada. But like I said, we want to push the traffic to Tiki until we complete the process of being able to move over to Comcast and Charter and things like that. But, the great thing that I'm excited about is obviously we have our person in you who is going to have a show that was started out along the lines of being similar to Roland Martin, but with a completely different spin to it, because, I just think that your show is a completely different. In some ways it's similar, because you get down to the nitty gritty and talk about that, and in other ways you can completely left, whereas, he's not doing that. You know what I mean? So that's what I like about that. And then you talk about topics, things that Roland won't talk about. So yeah, Humor will be on that. But here's the thing. So
wait a minute before you keep going. So it's called Humor Mill.
Yeah, the channel is Humor Mill TV.
Humor Mill TV on Tiki. So how do they get Tiki?
Yeah, you can download the app. You could ask your cable service provider for the channel, but the easiest way is if you have a smart TV, you can download Tiki. How people download Roku apps and people download Amazon apps and that's the easiest way. The easiest way. Okay. And you and I both know that they are selling 100,000, smart TVs a month. So they're moving those TVs. Now the TVs come installed with these apps already built in. So you gotta do is download the app on your TV, and boom, we're there. So
they're moving a lot. I'm watching on the news. They're moving a lot on the news too.
Bro, they really are.
Yeah, they
really are.
Now, what was you gonna
say? Woo! But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But like I was saying to you, is that we're excited about being able to do this because we're on 250 million platforms, 250 million user devices. That's where we're on. We're in 5 million households across the U.S. right now. So we're excited about that right now. So.
And I'm excited too.
Yeah,
we appreciate that we found a way to make it happen, man. You've been on me for quite some bit of time.
Yes, I have been, right? And then I've been trying to get you to do this. Yeah. Like, how many years have I been trying to do?
That's why I said quite some bit of time. I left it open.
Yeah, but I want to close that down a little bit, tighten it a little bit more than that, bro, because it's been at least 10.
Oh, geez, 10 years. Oh,
yeah, because it's 2020. 2020.
It is. It is.
Yeah, when you start looking at the number of 2020, I met you in what, 2008, 2009?
That might be before that.
Yeah,
around that time.
Yeah. So here we are, 2020, and now we're finally getting you to move towards that. But
it took 10 years to kind of get the infrastructure and Tiny Closet Studios to come together, and investors and the therapy and all that.
Closet Studio. I like Tiny Closet Studio, bro. It's got a niche. That's the niche I like right there.
It's real in here, man. We're gonna launch a sneaker show, a resell show. We're gonna sell old clothes out the closet, everything.
Yeah, well, it's funny because we got to launch a sneaker show too. So we take it ahead with you. A cooking show, a couple of things. Late night show. We got a couple of things.
See, the cooking show could happen. My tiny kitchen, I just got to merge it. I might have to take this wall down. You know what I mean? And just that's it like that. It could happen. Anything could happen. It's a virtual world. All right, so I'm gonna open up the phone line 347-391.
Okay, good.
68.
Because I got a question for you while you open the phone line.
Shoot.
Okay, question for you. How are you feeling right now, knowing that one of the police officers in the George Floyd incident was black? How does that make you feel?
I didn't know that. I saw the pictures today. Wait a minute.
Yeah. One of the police officers was black.
He looked other. I didn't know he was black.
Yeah, it's proven he's black. So how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel any different? Same?
No, to be honest, it doesn't, because that blue line is real, and we've been talking about that for a minute. Like, they rarely cross it.
Right. And it makes me a little bit more upset because knowing that he was a brother, he knows what's going on, but he decided to put his job more in place, more so in front of the life of a black man who's like him, ready to get killed.
That's every brother ain't your brother.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. But how you live with yourself like that, bro?
You know? Well, I mean, with a pension and qualified immunity, that's how. So again, I didn't feel different. Even just now, you saying that, I'm thinking about it. Do I feel different? No, I don't feel different because on some level, and okay, let me say it, because this always, not all cops, but there's some regions of the country where black people are just different. There's a different type of black person who does different type of black people stuff.
Right.
And so you might have a person who's a different type of black person, and now he's black police doing police stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's kind of hard to, like I said, we're not a monolith. Unfortunately, we're not all the same. We don't all think the same. So that doesn't shock me. That's not the first time though.
No, it's not. But it's definitely one of the most egregious.
Yeah. Well, especially since this is such a high profile situation. But you know, it's not the first. But you know what's funny? The cold part about it is, previously in those scenarios where there's been a black cop that did something similar, he went to jail immediately, automatically. Right. So with these 4, the question becomes, is he going to be the reason that they all 4 go to jail? Or are they going to be the reason he doesn't go to jail? That's a
good point. Good point.
That's the trick. Yeah. That's the trick right there.
That's a good point. That's a thought. That's a food for thought. And here's another food for thought for you, because you know I'm gonna throw them out at you, right, bro?
Yeah.
Okay. There have been coronavirus cases that spiked in Texas, Oregon, and Arizona, and they really spiked. Now, of course, they spiked because of all the people who were protesting and things like that. You know, my thing is, when you were practicing and when you were protesting and things like that, were you not being, you obviously weren't doing the 6 feet apart thing, but how does it even continue to spread? You're not wearing masks, you're not wearing gloves, you're not doing, I mean, I don't know. So I guess the question remains is, are we still just doing the social distancing now or not?
So let me give you my answer. And you know, with all due respect to anybody that has lost somebody and not taking it lightly, but if you believe, like the headline said 2 days ago, that there are 21,000 new cases of positive coronavirus across America, if you believe that, I have in this very tiny closet the Marty McFly Yeezys that are currently going for 16 grand, and I'll sell them to you for $50. I'll sell them to you for $50. They go.
So I take it you don't believe that,
man. Come on. So it's so much to that. So when they get tested, where they get tested, how they get tested,
and how the results all get accumulated so far.
Man, come on, man. 21,000. Yeah. The day later, I think it was the day after the was it the day after his little stunt?
Yeah.
When that headline came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the day after his stunt, and the numbers were from the weekend. And I'm like, come on, man, y'all doing too much. Y'all like really like Eddie Murphy. Stop with the comedy, man. You go too far. Comedy. Like I just don't believe it. Now to your point, that's on the serious side. Are we social distancing still? If you ain't outside, you are. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. I mean, I've been out there. It's impossible to do it down there. And they say things like the tear gas and the pepper spray only exacerbate, what's going on inside your body if it gets in there. So I don't know, man. It's tricky. I said the other day. I said last week before I went down there, because when I went down there, I had the whole thing, but I was nervous. I still was nervous. Mm-hmm. But I said after seeing it, I said, if these numbers don't spike, there's some questions to be answered. I said, if in 2 weeks everybody ain't sick, it's some questions to be had about what happened.
That's very, very, very true. I'm just happy gas prices ain't going back up yet to catch.
They coming. I
know, but I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time I went and got some gas for $1.25. I can't even remember that, bro.
Wait a minute, $1.25. Where you live at?
I told you, bro. I'm up here in Boston. Like,
$1.25.
Gas $1.20. And when I left LA, bro, gas was almost $4.50, $4.75 when I left LA.
When I moved out there, it was like $4.80. Yeah.
Yeah, you see my point, bro? So when was the last time you was at the gas pump, pulled up with your, you know what I mean, and got it for?
We had $2.13 my neighborhood, but $1.25, is that even real gas? Maybe that's why. It ain't even.
I'm not even driving a lot, so I don't know. You know,
they cutting it. What I could appreciate is car insurance. So I was on this thing where I was going, had the things written out. Who can I call and tell that they ain't getting their money, or who can I ask to give me a little grace period? And then, right when I got to car insurance, they called me. So it was like, in this time where everyone's together, we're gonna save 20%. And I seen it too. Like the next week, it was like, from moving forward, 20% off your bill for each month, because they know, like, you're not gonna get that out of me, and I'm not using my car.
Right.
You're not gonna get that out of me. So I could appreciate them being proactive. So that was, but yeah.
Bro, it's affecting car prices.
Yeah.
Grocery store. I don't know about you, but we've been ordering, like, this is something I'm gonna never stop doing, bro. I've been ordering groceries, getting delivered to the door. I think this is a great thing. I mean, the car prices thing is phenomenal. And I think more than anything, bro, I am really enjoying, not spending so much time running out and about and getting, restless and doing, you know what I mean? I mean, just, bro, because, we get so caught up, and you and I both know, when you get caught up, you look around, it's 10 o'clock at night, and then you haven't even done the things you're supposed to do.
Now you have time to do everything.
Yeah, now who even organizes their closet? You know what I mean? So, like, I never did that before, but
Here's the downside, though. That's the setup, though, because now you're comfortable with that. You're fine with that. There's some parts of this you don't want to go back to. So now that you're fine with getting everything dropped off at your door, now that you're fine with ordering food and having it delivered, and now that you're fine with, being inside, as long as you got the streaming, your Wi-Fi, and your lights is on, you good. Now the machine is taking over. Now it's Amazon. It's an Amazon world.
Right.
Because the game has changed. So, it's a double-edged sword. It's a slippery slope. Whereas we're going to be beholden to that way of things now, like we were to the old way. Like, I take it like this. Like, if you had an office job and you prove to your bosses that you can telework, who's going back into the office?
Right. That's true. That's my point.
Nobody.
Yeah. And who's going to go back to radio? Who's going to go back doing TV? Like, everything's getting ready to change I don't think it's going back to the old way in a lot of things, bro. Because I think personally, radio jocks are calling in and talking about, now I like living, I like coming downstairs and doing my radio show,
Right.
Yeah. That's a tough time.
That's that.
Yeah.
And then there's that.
It's tough time.
Well, there it is, man. I'm gonna let you go, cut you loose. I know you got.
Hey, brother. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that you coming by, as always, Frank, from humormillmag.com and humor_mill on all social media. Any headlines from this week's edition?
I could, but we'll talk about more of that tomorrow, because then that's a whole nother 30 minutes.
All right. Sounds good. Y'all can go to the social media page and check out all the headlines, comedy, entertainment, news.
Yeah. And Tiki Live is the app. Tiki Live. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Tiki Live. I appreciate that. In case you all are watching, you love this show, you're gonna see this man right here sitting to my right on your screen. He's gonna be on our channel starting Monday. Thank you. We appreciate you, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right. Now tomorrow I'm on Karen Hunter show. So
yeah, I forgot about that. Monday.
I'll holler at you.
All right, later.
My man Frank. All right, so let's see here. Let me change Tiki Live, because I had said Tiki, but that's cool though. All right, we got about 10 more minutes in the show. I appreciate y'all for hanging in there, man. I don't know if y'all was tuning into the interview with the guest we had, but that was she was dropping some gems. So yeah, man, this is what you're gonna get. Now the show is Let's Go Live is a little upbeat, a little lighter than normal, but usually and typically, but given everything that's going on, it's kind of hard to be funny in this environment. So in its current climate. So I'm just speaking to the issues, and that's that. So couple things that I saw some people were talking about on social media. So last night, I don't know if you're watching. If you're watching the continuing coverage, two things: one, get some help, and two, don't watch so much, because if you overwhelm yourself, you're gonna start to break down. I've been there. I'm talking from experience. I just ain't self-righteous. If you watch too much of it, it can really wear on your spirit, and so be careful. But I was looking at earlier how between last night and tonight or today, your president got this new 11-foot wall, concrete and steel perimeter put up around the White House. And it's like so many questions. It's like, how did you even, like, when did you, who did that? Who, like, are these law enforcement people in these outfits? Are they moonlighting as construction workers and Army Corps engineers? Like, where did they come from? How did they do this? And who's paying for it? Is Mexico paying for this wall? Is DC government? Like, what is really going on? So you got mad because people said you went into a bunker. So you built a fort? So you wouldn't have to go downstairs? You built a fort, dude? Wow, man. I mean, all he's missing is, if I could find the picture, I would pull it up. All he's missing, we ain't got that kind of time. All he's missing is like a moat. You can wake up, you can wake up tomorrow and it's gonna be like a moat with crocodiles and snapping turtles. That's what's gonna happen. Anyway. All right, so there it is, man. We're gonna I'm gonna cut you loose. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. We're gonna be doing something every day with the show. The time this week was 4:00. That time may change. Now that people are going back to work and whatever have you. We want to make sure that we get this content out, in the evenings when you decompressing, you winding down, and you get a chance to call in and participate and engage in the show. So we want all that. We're just building. This was a soft launch. I appreciate y'all who have sent funds. This is completely 100% viewer supported. I can't do it without y'all. Shout out to my sponsors, Drunken Fruit. Go to drunkenfruit.com. They're now they have designated Maryland as one of their specialty regions. So if you go on the site and you're from the DC, Maryland area, you might see some valuable information that pertains just to you. Drunkenfruit.com. I say it like that. I had to check with the legal department. They said it was okay. Also, $ Lamont King 06. You'll see it scrolling at the bottom. If you want, feel free to give me $1. All I need is $1 from everybody. If I get $1, I'm good. I don't need all this. You don't need to subsidize, pay my rent, nothing like that. But if I get $1 from 100 people, I'm good to go for an hour. That's fine with me. That's what I would be making, at the comedy club. So I'm good with it. So Facebook, I'm on my public page right now. Make sure you follow the public page and subscribe on YouTube so you can get notified when we go live and we do the show. Also, soon I'll be dropping information from my podcast, Whites Only and All Fun and Games. I look forward to hanging out with y'all very, very soon. Y'all be safe. And hey, man, don't do nothing I would do. And if you did, just don't get caught.